order here. March the 5th, 2013, our 6 o'clock evening meeting. We appreciate everybody being here. If you wouldn't mind, we're going to stand for an invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Dear Father, we ask your mercy on those who are suffering. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. With that, I would look for a motion to approve the minutes from the February 19th, 2013 meeting.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. With that, let's turn to proclamations. We have resolution number 13-040. This is the St. Lucie County Firefighter Appreciation Month. Would you please read the resolution?
Yes, sir. Resolution number 13-040. A resolution proclaiming the month of April 2013 as St. Lucie County Firefighter Appreciation Month in St. Lucie County, Florida. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida has made the following determinations. Fighting fires is one of the most hazardous professions, requiring physical strength, stamina, extensive training, courage, and selfless concern for the welfare of our citizens. In addition to their daily service to communities, firefighters throughout the state and across the nation have joined the Muscular Dystrophy Association for over 58 years in the fight against neuromuscular disease. The St. Lucie County firefighters collected $37,472 throughout the community with their 2012 Fill the Boot campaign for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. The Muscular Dystrophy Association is extremely grateful to the St. Lucie County firefighters for their support and dedication. The funds collected by the St. Lucie County firefighters assist the Muscular Dystrophy Association in providing medical services at local clinics, summer camps, research grants, support groups, and public education seminars at no cost to local children and families. In honor of the efforts of the St. Lucie County firefighters, the Muscular Dystrophy Association is sponsoring St. Lucie County Firefighter Appreciation Month. It is appropriate for all St. Lucie County citizens to join the Muscular Dystrophy Association in tribute to our firefighters. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida, this board does hereby proclaim the month of April 2013 as St. Lucie County Firefighter Appreciation Month in St. Lucie County, Florida. This board does hereby commend the St. Lucie County firefighters for their efforts on behalf of the Muscular Dystrophy Association, passed and duly adopted this 5th day of April 2013.
Thanks, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Mr. Chairman, second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. With that, I have two ladies that are going to join us here at the podium. I have both Stephanie Glavin as well as Alexia Burke. Welcome, welcome. So glad that you all are here. If you don't mind, we're going to give you this resolution. I'd like to have you say it. By the way, this mic is a little loud, Shane. I'm getting a lot of feedback. All the mics seem to be a little off. I'd like to provide this for you, and Eric's going to take a picture if you don't mind. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
Board of Commissioners, I just want to say a brief thank you for your continued support over the past many years. It means a lot to the firefighters and paramedics of St. Lucie County. Like the proclamation reads, last year we raised just over $37,000. We were recently recognized in the IAFF magazine. Over the past 10 years, St. Lucie County has raised almost $500,000 to support the Muscular Dystrophy Association. This is a tremendous organization. It provides flu shots, clinic visits, support groups. The biggest thing for the kid, as far as the kids are concerned, summer camp. And it means a lot to us to be able to help this organization, mainly the kids and their parents that are struggling to fight against each and every day that they wake up, and it's not just a normal clean up your room, brush your teeth. The normal fights is Mom, can you scratch my nose for me, please? they don't have the muscles the muscular strength to lift up. And that's just one of the 43 different muscular dystrophy diseases. So we thank you for your support, as always. One of our biggest challenges is getting it out to our communities, letting them know why we're on the streets, that we aren't collecting for us. This is to support this charity. So please pass along to your neighbors, your friends, your family within the communities. Let them know we're trying really hard to get out to the news media as much as we can. But thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, before you leave, I think you all have the dates already set, so here's you an opportunity to put those dates out there.
Yes, ma'am. The dates are starting this weekend. It's going to be March 8th through 10th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and the following weekend, the 15th, 16th, and 17th. You'll see them at various You'll see us at various points throughout the county, Fort St. Lucie, Fort Pierce, and everywhere in between. We're in bright bunker gear, or we'll have our vests on. Hopefully, you'll be able to recognize us. We have the big red fire trucks. So stop by, and even if you don't have some coins or cash to give, say hi. We appreciate all the support from our community. We wouldn't be able to support MDA without the support of the people that we live with, work with. So thank you to everyone else out there.
And Lexi, the money stays in St. Lucie County, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The funds raised here stays locally. That's one of the things. We were rushing back because we were doing station visits today. We were passing out supplies and talking with the guys, saying hello and getting stickers out. And one of the perks of this year's Fill the Boot Drive is we have a local young lady that has a form of muscular dystrophy. She's 13 years old, that lives locally here in Fort Pierce. And she will be presenting a traveling trophy to the highest collecting station in the fire district, and she's super excited about it. She can't wait to come and congratulate and award the winners. So that's an example. She receives the benefits from exactly what we do here. She's been to summer camp. She gets the clinic visits and the support group. And just to add on to her mom's a single mom, so that just adds more to the pot, that to have the community come and open their arms to them and really support them means a lot.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to add one thing to that, because I think it gets lost when we have members such as the fire district out looking and asking for funding for this. But one of the things that has always amazed me is that at these camps, many of them are the counselors themselves are actually firefighters from across the state that give up their own time, their own vacation, their time away from their family to go and spend that week with these children one-on-one and help them through that week to enjoy it. So kudos.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Alexia. This is the quietest I've seen Stephanie as well.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm the area director of the Muscular Dystrophy Association in the Treasure Coast and Palm Beaches. I just wanted to come up and thank the commissioners for your support, and also to thank the St. Lucie County Fire District and Local 1377. The Fill the Boot tradition started in the fire service 59 years ago. And for that many years, the St. Lucie County firefighters have never left our side. They've collected for MDA every single year, no matter what was going on. So we're so proud of what they do. They've, stayed supportive, loyal to us. The local Muscular Dystrophy Association doesn't receive United Way funding. It doesn't receive government funding. So it's truly the work that the firefighters do and that the community supports that enable us to do what we do. So all the funds raised do stay locally. 77% of every dollar raised goes right back into the services, and we couldn't be more proud to have this partnership with the firefighters and the county. So we appreciate your support.
Thank you both for coming tonight.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, while they're going back to their seats, one other thing that the firefighters do that doesn't get much mention is each year they move the castle flags for children of child abuse. And that's a big job. Thousands, right? 2,000, 3,000? So we're reducing the number down to 126.
He mentioned 126.
So when you see firefighters out there with the white flags with the castle emblem on them, give them a honk and support. So
Wonderful. With that, we're going to have Chief Gary Wilson come up, and we're actually going to have just a quick moment of silence here for Sergeant Gary Morales. Obviously, this has been a tough week, both for the Sheriff's Department, Fire Department, local police departments, county staff, and many other friends and family. It's one that this process to see everything pulled together within a 4-day period was really amazing to watch everybody work together, and the overwhelming amount of support, love that we saw was really very, very touching, and wanted the chief to be able to have an opportunity to at least mention a couple of things as well, and then we're going to have a moment of silence for Sergeant Gary Morales. And Chief, with that, good evening.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I want to thank you for this opportunity on behalf of Sheriff Mascara and all of the members of the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office. As you mentioned, the senseless killing of Sergeant Gary Morales last Thursday was a tragedy not only felt by the Sheriff's Office but by our community as well. And we would like to take this opportunity to thank the board, county staff, Ms. Outlaw, and the community at large for the tremendous outpouring of support for the office, for Sergeant Morales' family. As you may have seen on the local coverage and everything, it was overwhelming, the support that we had. And Gary was a tremendous deputy, and he will be sorely missed, not only by his brothers and sisters at the Sheriff's Office, but by this community as well. So on behalf of the Sheriff's Office, I want to thank you for this opportunity and the recognition of a moment of silence for Sergeant Morales this evening.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
That if you wouldn't mind joining me in a moment of silence, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. With that, we'd like to turn to the general public comment portion of our meeting. If anyone would like to address the board this evening, we welcome your comments. We have a microphone and podium up front. We'd appreciate if you wouldn't mind providing your name and address for the record. With that, good evening.
Good evening,
Arena?
Commissioner Maori.
Wonderful. Thank you for attending.
John Arena, Fort Pierce. On my way to Publix after the February 5th County Commission meeting, I took the long way because the streets are usually quiet. However, this time, 2 medium-sized dogs came out of a driveway after me, and I almost fell off my bicycle, evading them. As that was occurring, it just so happened that a neighbor 2 doors down backed out of his driveway and put his headlights on the scene as it was happening. I was able to run the dogs back onto their driveway by putting my bicycle between us when the owner came walking down the driveway and took hold of their chains, which had come loose. On that particular block, most of the homes are owned by people from Mexico. Pneumatic dredging has replaced rotary in most modern countries. Why it is taking so long in the United States is politics, in my opinion. It is currently being used to skim PCBs off the bottom of the Hudson River that GE disposed of years ago. Southern California Edison has installed more than 300 megawatts of photovoltaic solar cells on warehouse rooftops. Pacific Gas and Electric has promised 500 megawatts of commercial distributed solar energy. And San Diego Gas and Electric 100 megawatts by 2015. Perhaps FP&L could do the same on major county-owned buildings here in Florida. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arena. Good evening, George.
My name is George M. Baker, live in the city of Port St. Lucie. Mr. Chair, County Commissioners, Hey Dunaway over there, everybody here. All right, now tonight, I'm just going to give a little background to make you think I know what I'm talking about. When I first came to this county, Bobby Knowles was sheriff, and I was a volunteer with the Sheriff's Department, helicopter unit. I later did park patrol, so I'm familiar with that. I was in the first Citizens Academy, and what I'm going to stop. What the sheriff said last time was absolutely true. That's a bunch of professionals out there, and they need our support. Now, somebody was talking about $60 million for a baseball thing. I think we'll take about half of that and give it to the Sheriff's Department. I've noticed lately that we're not getting as much helicopter coverage as we once did. We're not getting enough units out on the street. And I think they need some gas or something, jet fuel. We have a lot of parks in this area that are being damaged by some idiot in a truck that's, I guess it's a truck, tearing it up, doing wheelies or whatever the heck he's doing out there. And we need to get that air too down there with the searchlight on and pick this dude up, put him in jail. Just take a couple of units. And I think we really need to do that. We get a lot of people working real hard to make these nice places for families, and then we got a stupid idiot doing what he's doing. I'm too old to get out there and catch him, but if I do, he's going to jail one way or another. Anyway, that's enough of that theory, but we do need, the sheriff needs some more money. Let's give it to him. Let's get law enforcement where it's supposed to be. Let's get this crime rate down. Now, speaking of crime, I'm just going to say this once. I've heard you all talking about the cargo port. One thing I'd never heard anybody say anything about was crime. Cargo ports usually have a high rate of crime, and if the sheriff doesn't have enough money to enforce that extra load you're going to put on them, we're in trouble. Okay, that's enough of that. Anybody see this? Anybody see this in the paper? Dog Beach, Walton Rocks. Well, it wasn't written by our Chamber of Commerce. It wasn't written by our tourist board, and it wasn't written by anybody in this administration. This was written by a tourist telling how great that place is, and we don't even advertise it. Isn't that strange? We want to have people come down here and enjoy what we offer them, and we don't even tell them it's here. It's bad publicity. Take their money and kick them out. You know, it's not right, folks. We need to get somebody to really publicizing these parks and preserves that are really nice places, stress relief places if you go there. I don't have too much to talk about, but I do think, like I said before, the Sheriff's Department needs some more money. Let's give them some. And I had 4 boys play baseball. I managed, I umpired and everything. I know what baseball's all about. It's a good sport, but crime is a lot more serious than sports. So let's give a little bit of money to the sheriff. Let's get those helicopters up there flying. Let's get more units on the road. We got some bad drivers here, folks. And that's an awful lot of revenue out there if you start giving them tickets. It all has to go in the general fund, but it's a lot of money. We can get this county out of debt just by traffic tickets. That's all I got to say, but I'd like to say I'm a full-time supporter of the Sheriff's Department, and he needs money. Let's get it for him, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Obviously, I think the Sheriff's Department enjoys your comments this evening. They love to hear about more jet fuel and gas They're shaking their heads in agreement with that. Anyone else wishing to address the board this evening for general public comment? Seeing no movement, we'll close the general public comment portion and we'll move to the consent agenda. Just as a note of record, there was one additional item that was added prior to the meeting. And that was item B7 under the county attorney's office. This was the Board of County Commissioners record destruction. That was one additional item. Anything else that a commissioner would like to have pulled or discussed prior to making a full vote on these items?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to pull warrants list 22 for a separate vote, with which I'll abstain.
Is there a motion to approve warrants list number 22?
So moved.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. With that, we'll move to the remainder of the consent agenda. Any other item wishing to be pulled?
Mr. Chairman, move approval of consent agenda.
Have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you, staff, for your participation. With that, we will turn to the public hearing portion of our meeting.
Mr. Chairman, before we open up for that, may I ask the board's indulgence on actually moving forward with the erosion district, since it too is just in a consent agenda? Would that be appropriate, or would you prefer me to wait?
You know, it's up to the board if we'd like to do that at this point. Fortunately, this is a nice, quick meeting. That's what I love
Okay.
about tonight.
All right, we'll wait.
Move to Planning and Development Services. First is a public hearing for ordinance number 13-007. And before we actually do that, what I was going to make mention of, I think that's an excellent discussion. And Ms. Outlaw, just as a thought maybe from the board, whether or not we would like to have those special districts moved as a separate portion. I don't know what the board thinks about perhaps having a 6:30 meeting or 6:45 meeting where we actually approve those prior. That way those are done and out of the way. Then we actually come back as the regular board for our Board of County Commissioners meeting, rather than always having staff wait until the very end.
Did you mean?
Or do it as special action at the beginning of our meeting. So just
Did
as
you mean 5:45 or 5:30?
5:45, thank you. I'm always thinking an hour ahead, just thinking for you.
Okay.
I love that. So just food for thought, we may want to think about that, since those are generally items that we're dealing with in 5 minutes.
Right, they're usually
whether or
on
not
the
we want to-
consent agenda. Yeah.
So I like that idea. So, wherever we want to go. All right, with that, turn to Ms.
Good evening,
Britton
Mr.
Wilson.
Chairman. Britton Wilson, Senior Planner for the record, presenting item 7A, which is the second and final adoption hearing for a text amendment to the Land Development Code petitioned by Rio Arcade to allow bingo parlors as a permitted use in the Commercial General or CG zoning district. This item was first presented before you 2 weeks ago on February 19th. There isn't any new information to present at this time, but if the board wishes to hear a PowerPoint presentation again prior to opening up the public hearing and voting, I'm happy to do so.
Mr. Chairman, I'm welcome the public. I think we've heard this at least once, so.
Any other comments from the board? With that, I think we'll just move to the general public comment portion of the meeting. Anyone wishing to address the board on this item? This is a public hearing. Seeing no movement, we'll close the general public comment portion of that. We'll turn to the board.
Move approval.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion?
One of the things that I like to say, if any, one of the benefits from this opportunity is the fact that they will be giving money to charity as a result of this process. And also, it will provide a couple of jobs as well in the county. So those are two things that this scenario will provide. And I'd like to thank you for keeping the county in mind and being able to benefit us with this opportunity that you're giving to some of the local citizens.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments from the board? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. That will turn to Planning and Development Services again, ordinance number 13-002.
Again, Britton Wilson, Senior Planner for the record, presenting the final adoption hearing for 2 concurrent items for county-owned parcels located throughout the county that are currently being managed as conservation land.
Item 7B is for a large-scale future land use map amendment to Conservation Public, or the CPUB future land use designation. And item 7C is a concurrent petition to amend the official zoning atlas to Conservation Public, or the CPUB zoning district. This is a public hearing, and an ad was published in the St. Lucie News Tribune on February 22nd. The ad contained a map and a table identifying the areas proposed for amendment, and staff has received no calls from the public in opposition to the proposals. This map depicts the various county locations of county-owned land included in the amendment for future land use and zoning change to Conservation Public. You may recognize these as areas already being managed by the county as conservation and recreation land. And included in your packet is Ordinance 13-002 and Resolution 13-002 that identify each parcel in detail with a map and legal description. The future land use map amendment consists of 102 parcels totaling over 2,000 acres, and the amendment to the official zoning atlas consists of 190 parcels totaling almost 8,000 acres. Many of the parcels already have the appropriate CPUB future land use designation, so only the zoning will need to be changed on those parcels, which is why there are more parcels proposed for zoning than there are for future land use change. Here's the definition of Conservation Public when applied as a future land use designation and as a zoning district. Of course, they're very similar definitions, both calling for the protection of public conservation land. And no residential or commercial development may occur on parcels designated CPUB. The proposed amendments to the future land use map and the official zoning atlas are consistent with the comprehensive plan by furthering policy 1131 that calls for the protection of areas designated for conservation purposes. And a change to CPUB is considered downzoning due to the decrease in potential impacts and is therefore compatible with neighboring uses. As mentioned earlier, these are public lands already being managed for conservation, so this item can be considered a housekeeping process. And you may recall that the first hearing for this item was held last fall and was transmitted to the State Department of Economic Opportunity for review and comment, where they provided a letter stating that there were no objections to the proposal. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the future land use map amendment and concurrent rezoning. And because these are two separate items, the public hearing needs to be open and closed and voting for each one individually. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Any questions for staff?
No, sir, but I do have a comment, simply that I was approached by members of the Conservation Alliance regarding this item, and I did explain to them what this item was and that it was a conservation issue, and they were satisfied with that explanation. I just want to make that public.
Thank you. This is a general public hearing. Anyone wishing to address the board, please do so at this time. This is both for a comprehensive plan as well as a rezoning. Seeing no movement, we'll return to the board. These both are legislative items. We have two separate items, both item B and item C. We'll take them as two separate motions. Is there a motion to approve item B?
Mr. Chairman, move approval ordinance 13-002.
We have 13-002 for the future land use amendment. Is there any discussion? Was there a second at first?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Then item C.
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. That brings us to the end of our regular agenda. Any items that the board would like to have addressed as announcements? Comments from our attorney or county administrator?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Quiet group. Quiet group. Somber week. I do want to say yesterday's service was, I was beyond impressed at just how amazing everyone was able to pull things together in such a short time span and to do something that was so honorable, so noble. It was a beautiful thing to be a part of, and it was very honoring for Sergeant Morales and a true sign of the professionalism that our department has been able to show and develop. I was very, very impressed with just how everything was put together on that.
Yeah, and since you brought it up, the sheriff was able to name the training facility that Sergeant Morales was a major part in after him in memoriam. And I think that's a fitting tribute to a gentleman who spent as much time in the training side of things and wanted to be so excellent at what he does and what he's done, and what the Sheriff's Department has done for us. So.
That was great. By the way, I wanted to mention today, Ms. Outlaw provided a presentation at the Economic Development Council luncheon. You did a great job. You really did. So thank you. I know you and your staff were there as well. But you really did an outstanding job, and I think everybody appreciated your update on what has happened and transpired over the past several years on the budgetary standpoint from the county's perspective. And I thought you did a great job at that. So thank you for that.
Much.
That was nice. Met spring training is going on, so don't miss out on that. And we also have our upcoming Port of Fort Pierce Master Plan workshop that'll be taking place on March the 23rd. That's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Fenn Center. Anything else that the commissioners would like to address? With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We are adjourned.
We'll come to order, St. Lucie County Erosion District. First on the agenda is the public comment. Is there anyone from the public that'd like to address the board? Seeing no one, we'll move to tonight's consent agenda. If
Madam
there's
Chair,
no,
move approval of consent agenda as
Second?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.